Much of what we know about what Fauci's agency was doing in China is because of our litigation. So the other big issue out there, obviously, is COVID. And the alleged misconduct of people like Anthony Fauci and Francis Collins and other things, not only in the potential funding of gain-of-function research that potentially could have led to the creation of the COVID virus, if you believe some experts, but other information has come out about his involvement in, or his agency's involvement in the funding of animal research, which is to many people morally objectionable, especially since it involves dogs. And so, and of course, Judicial Watch uncovered how his agencies and the feds generally were involved in, which I think is worse than dog experiments, taking the fetal organs and heads of unborn human beings killed through abortion and using them to, according to the FDA's own admission, develop medicines and vaccines. Make sure they're, quote, safe. That was the FDA's response to some of our disclosures. So you have Fauci spending your money to experiment using the fetal organs of babies killed through abortion, dogs, and Lord knows what else in terms of gain-of-function research. It's still being uncovered. And the other big thing is people have concerns about is what he's getting paid. He's one of the top paid officials, if not the top paid civil servant in the country or the federal government, and if he has any conflicts of interest. And the law requires certain documents be filed, financial disclosures be filed by senior officials like Dr. Fauci. And Judicial Watch filed a FOIA lawsuit on behalf of one of our allies in the movement for transparency, openthebooks.com, against the Department of Health and Human Services for the employment contracts, financial conflict of interest, and confidentiality disclosure documents, and, quote, job description of Dr. Fauci. Plus, we want, through this lawsuit, to get details on the royalties paid to NIH employees by outside entities. So, you may not know this, but certain government officials have side jobs that result in income to them. God bless America, right? But because of the potential conflicts of interest, that income needs to be disclosed. And this is specifically what what our friends at openthebooks.com, and they do some great work on FOIA. They focus on like government spending and, the numbers game, which the government hates to disclose to you. Because if you saw the numbers, forget about the policy. The numbers enough should infuriate you. And openthebooks.com does an excellent does an excellent job of using FOIA and our transparency laws to get to the numbers. Again, open the books. That's why they call it openthebooks.com. So they had asked the National Institutes of Health, which is an agency within Health and Human Services, for these documents back beginning of this year, January, and up to September. And these are the requests: all employment contracts, modifications and addendums since hiring as Director of National Institute for Health and National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. So we want the employment contracts of people like Collins and Fauci. His daily calendar from January 1st, 2019 to the present time. Confidentiality documents, conflict documents, and economic interest disclosure documents. It's all about Dr. Fauci, his current job description. And again, the personal royalties paid, and other documents we want, to current and former Fauci agency and NIH officials for work done while they were federally employed. And as Andrew Andrzejewski, who's the CEO and founder of openthebooks.com, says, no one is above the law, including Dr. Anthony Fauci. It shouldn't take a subpoena or a lawsuit to force open basic employment documents that executive-level federal bureaucrats are required by law to file. We thank Judicial Watch for being a good friend and partner in this important matter. And I'm glad Judicial Watch is able to do this. Obviously, we do a lot of lawsuits to advance our own FOIAs and get the truth about documents we've asked for directly. But we're also happy to help other groups like OpenTheBooks.com or reporters and journalists to sue for records. And we often informally advise countless individuals and groups and activists about how to get records from the government. And as I noted in this, in commenting on this new lawsuit we filed, Fauci wields unrivaled political power in our federal government, probably the most powerful government official in modern American history who wasn't elected. So it is urgent that the American people have full access to his financial disclosures, that we, again, as I echo Andrew's point, that we had to file a federal lawsuit about Fauci's financial disclosures and other basic information raises a host of concerning questions. Don't you agree? And again, this is another area where Judicial Watch is doing the basic heavy lifting that Congress refuses to do, the media has little interest in doing. We had uncovered, for instance, with our work with the Daily Caller News Foundation, that Fauci personally approved a press release that went out of its way to praise China. That Fauci's deputy had to sign off on confidentiality terms dictated by China. That Fauci's agency had an official in China monitoring Wuhan, evidently spying on the Wuhan Institute, at the same time they're funding it. And of course, we uncovered the full scope of the spending on the Wuhan Institute by Fauci's agency that was withheld from the American people until Judicial Watch uncovered it. So much of what we know about what Fauci's agency was doing in China is because of our litigation. And again, this kind of, I'm pleased that Judicial Watch is doing this work, but this COVID crisis, and it is a crisis, in my view, caused more by the lockdown than by the health impact of the disease, or lockdowns and the restrictions associated with trying to, quote, contain COVID. We're doing more to figure out how it came about, what was going on, than our federal agency, international agency, our federal agencies, Congress, our so-called international health community. And I don't mean we're finding stuff out, we're just trying to investigate by reading newspaper articles. We're in federal court trying to get access to the information. So if you want to hold Dr. Fauci accountable and find out what he was up to and what the federal government was up to in terms of coordinating with China on this research that I think they should never have been working with them on to begin with, you'll want to support Judicial Watch.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.